You know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the apes, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, boy, what we... Anyway, everybody, welcome. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. in New Orleans, Nolens, as they call it. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, blogtalkradio.com, LA Talk Radio, all over the place. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on another Thursday. It's the 12th, I believe, of February 2026. You know, when the summer just can't get here fast enough, man. I mean, I'm tired of looking at those mountains of snow. It's like we're living in Iceland somewhere, you know, because every time because it's not melting, it's been cold. There hasn't been enough, the temperature hasn't been high enough to heat to melt the snow. So the snow is just sitting there. There's mountains and just all over the place, just making, you know, things a nightmare for folks who are catching the bus. You know, a lot of the bus, you know, the walkways in front, even in front of the bus shelters, the walkways in front of the bus shelters, you got to walk halfway down the street to find a cut through so you can get on the bus. So it's been just crazy, but before you know it, we'll be crying. Before you know it, we'll be crying about the weather like we always do. It's either it's too hot, it's too cold. We just never, human beings can never, ever be satisfied. We just can't. Anyway, it's just a couple minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. Shout out to Casey Melvin, who was on the program last week. Casey Melvin. And we're going to redo that once Casey Melvin gets his act together. Because that wasn't my fault. I'm going to put it all on him. Casey Melvin, who was on the program last week. You know, and I've gotten a couple of inquiries about other folks who are running for council at large in the city of Patterson, who are requesting to be on the winner on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. So I don't know about that. I have to see what their platform is. You know, it's nothing like free publicity. You know, we had on LinkedIn alone, on LinkedIn, you had 12,000 folks who listened to the Ron Kelly Show when Luis Velez, councilman, fifth ward councilman in the city of Patterson, was on the program. 12,000 people tuned into the Ron Kelly Show, and that was on LinkedIn alone. 12,000 folks. So we're happy about that. Anyway, everybody, it's the 12th of February. My birthday is next Friday, so I think I'll be on the air anyway. But yeah, so 12th of February is 2026. And from what I understand, in the beginning of February, the groundhog predicted there was only going to be 6 weeks of winter. So winter that's left. So hopefully the groundhog is right. Once again, shout out to Casey Melvin, who is his third time running for council at large in the great city of Patterson, New Jersey. Will the third time be a charm? Well, we'll see. Anyway, and happy birthday to my sponsor, Julia Porterfield, for American Porterfield Transportation. She, you know, it's a black-owned business. She started it herself with one station wagon. Started it herself in 1980, and it is now one of the premier transportation organizations in the city of Plainfield, New Jersey, and beyond. I'll talk a little bit more about her in a couple of minutes, but shout out to Julia Porterfield. Happy birthday, Julia Porterfield. Man, and shout out to Donnie Wilson, who sent me something that I wasn't even aware of. Shout out to him. Appreciate you, my brother. Donnie Wilson sent me something about Trump. Death by Trump. I mean, the power of Trump. Death by Trump. there was a story. Let me see if I have it here. So I'm getting a little bit organized, but a little bit more organized, folks. So watch out. Yeah. So what happened was a father killed his daughter. Got into an argument with his daughter about Trump. And see, Trump, the danger, Trump proposes many dangers to the folks living here in the United States of America, the Americans, many dangers. But this one is something that that people don't realize is the power of Trump, because allegedly, the way the story goes, the man was talking to his daughter about Trump. I mean, obviously, the daughter did not agree with Trump, and so they got into an argument. And so the daughter says to the father, because they were arguing about Trump and some of the alleged improprieties, Trump rape and sexual assault and all these things that he has been accused of. So the daughter goes, well, what if it was me that got raped by Trump? And the father said, well, he wouldn't mind. And see, and that's what I was trying to tell y'all, that Trump that has such a power over these people, that this man told his own daughter that he wouldn't mind if Trump had assaulted her like he assaulted some of the other people. You can look it up. You look it up. The girl's name was Lucy Harrison. This happened in Texas. And now hold on to your seats. That's not all of it. There's more. There's more. The girl, she was living in England. She came here with her boyfriend, 23 years old. And what father would even say something like that? My daughter, that you would allow somebody to assault your daughter. I mean, what father would say something like that to his daughter? It's just unbelievable. But and that's not all. See, this happened, actually this happened last year. So I'm just getting wind of it. But see, this is about the power of Trump. This happened last year in January. And the father's name was Chris Harrison. The daughter was Lucy Harrison. Look it up. And, there's more. So he kills his daughter because they were arguing about Trump. And so this man was so in love with Trump that he would allow Trump to sexually assault his daughter. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And that's not the end of it. What eventually happened was he was charged with murder, and the grand jury chose not to indict him. This is in Texas, the Trump, Texas. So he killed his daughter, clearly guilty of murder, and the grand jury, he was brought before the grand jury, and the grand jury failed to indict. The grand jury would not indict him. You killed your daughter. And that's not the worst part about it. To add insult to injury, he wasn't, he was the jury, the grand jury, because this grand jury is before the regular jury. He was found. The grand jury chose to no bail him, which means that the grand jury chose not to indict him. It's just unbelievable. What's going on, Ronald McCready, my brother, my great grade school classmate. I'm not going to say when that was. And Ronald McCready, you don't say it either. Shout out to Ronald McCready. I hope all is well, my brother. Yeah, so Trump, it's the power of Trump. What man would allow another man, I don't care how cool we was, or how much I liked you, or what kind of buddies we were, what man would allow another man to sexually assault his daughter? He goes, well, I got 2 more daughters, so, it's just unbelievable. It's just completely outrageous and unbelievable that somebody would allow their daughter would say to their daughter that it would be okay if Trump sexually assaulted you. Then he kills her, and then a Texas grand jury failed to indict, failed to bring charges. So the man who killed his daughter was down with Trump, and then the grand jury was down with Trump. It just it's the danger of Trump, the power of Donald Trump over people. This is a 80 years old man, you know, what kind of power? He's a lame duck. Well, right now he's a lame duck because I know he's in the back room somewhere trying to figure out how he can stay in office. He's trying to figure out how he can stay in office. Trump wants to stay in office until he dies. You know, it's pretty, you know, because the presidency. You know, Trump is a megalomaniac. Trump is a total narcissist, and the White House, the presidency of the United States is the total narcissistic trip ever. You know, and we know Trump is power hungry. But it's unbelievable that this guy, Chris Harrison of Texas, kills his daughter over Trump, and then turns around and says, "I wouldn't mind if Trump." Basically, it's what he was saying. I wouldn't mind if Trump rapes you. And then the grand jury, you know, he's talking about more than one. You're talking about 8 to 10 people. The grand jury failed to indict. They said no. It was all good, and it's because of Trump. So you can't, just like you can't go to Philadelphia Eagles game with a cowboy sweatshirt on. You can't go to Texas and talk about Trump. You know, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I just thought I'd bring that to y'all. And it's a power of Trump. See, and that's why it's so important, everybody, that Trump loses one of the houses of Congress, either the Senate or the Congress. He's got to lose one of those two, because right now he's got the Supreme Court. You know, there's 6 conservatives, only 3 liberals. He has the Senate, and he has Congress, and that's very dangerous for somebody like Trump to have all 3 houses of power. So that's why it's so important, everybody, that when the midterms come this summer, you know, when the weather gets better and the midterms come, you're going to have to vote. Even I'm not the biggest fan of Democrats either. I'm not a big fan of the Democrats. So it boils down to the lesser of the 2 evils. Are you going to vote for Republicans, or are you going to vote for Democrats? And you know, and it's so funny that there's black people who are going on YouTube, especially TikTok, and Facebook, and some of these other social media platforms, and are still advocating for Trump. Still, black folks that are still advocating for Trump. Still. So we got to get into that. I'm going to talk about that later on in the program. You know, black folks still advocating for Trump. Okay, so it's another Black History Month. Nobody's even saying anything. I mean, you know, because we've seen so many Black History Months come and go. You know, so it's Black History Month once again. I'll get into that a little bit after the break. And also, you know, we're going to talk about, well, I got a lot to talk about here today, this afternoon. Got plenty, I mean, this evening, rather. Plenty to talk about this evening. So we're going to get all into it, you know, as the day goes on. But shout out once again to Casey Melvin, who was on the program last week. We're going to do a follow-up program to that, because I understand that the sound was terrible. Not my fault. That had nothing to do with it. But, you know, we'll get the kinks. We'll get that ironed out, so we can have Casey Melvin come back to the program and really get his point across, because I don't think he was able to get his point across. because of the sound problem that we had. So he'll be back on another edition of the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. So what we'll do now is we'll take a break. In Black History Month, it's another Black History Month. Y'all ain't gonna like what I have to say. It's another Black History Month. Yes, and you're right, Ronald McCready. People are gonna vote for who they vote. Yeah. Unfortunately, but if they vote that well, you know what? I'll get into it after the break. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more of my program. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show, and it's on everywhere. BlogTalkRadio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, and WBOK 1230 AM, 1230 AM in New Orleans. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, LA Talk Radio, Blog Talk Radio, WBOK 1230 AM in New Orleans, and that's just a start, because we're trying to segue over to regular radio. There will still be the Ron Kelly Show online, but the radio will be the regular radio, where you can listen in your car. Well, you can listen to the Ron Kelly Show in your car too. Everybody's got Wi-Fi in their cars now, so yeah, you can do that too. But anyway, it's about 20 minutes past the hour. So yeah, so it's another Black History Month. You know, another Black History Month where people get awards who don't deserve it. It's the time to give out stuff. Black History Month. You ever noticed that? The Black History Month, people get these awards, you know, and I'm not jealous. I got a closet full of awards that I've gotten for this program. So, you know, I can't even put them all on the wall, all the awards that I've got for the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, including I got a proclamation from the city of Paterson, New Jersey. Yes. Proclamation from the city of Paterson for my program. Ronald McCready says, "What has Trump really done?" But see, that's the thing, because I see people on TikTok and some of the other social media programs, black folks, talking about all the good things that Trump has done. You know, and I don't get it. I don't really know what Trump has done. Okay, Trump is the master flim-flammer. You see, people have to understand that. He's the master flim-flammer. Well, how do you think he got where he got? Well, and he's not a self-made person. You know, he's not self-made. His father was rich, Fred Trump. His father was rich, owned Left Rack City back in the day. Big time real estate developer, owner. And you remember Fred Trump got in trouble for denying shelter to black folks. Fred Trump, back in the day. Yeah, look it up. Fred Trump, Donald Trump's father, was a rich real estate investor, owned a lot of property, and And what he did was he denied minorities a chance to live in his buildings. And he got in trouble for that. And he didn't go to prison. You know, rich white folks don't go to prison unless they do something really bad. But yeah, Fred Trump. So we know, so he learned from his father. And Trump is a master manipulator. Look what he did. Look what he did with the black folks. Look what he did with all minorities. Look what he's done. Had Latinos out here, barking Trump for president. Latinos for Trump. Now half of them are on their way back to their countries. Latinos for Trump. Yeah, look what happened. Look, and when they go to what's happening to people is when they go to the interview for a visa, when they have to go to, not ICE, but when they have to go to immigration court or whatever, and they show up, they go, and ICE is waiting for them. They get locked up right there. These are the same people who, voted for Trump. Black folks. Going on TikTok. Talking about Trump. And this is after and I'm going to get to that too in a couple seconds, the Trump video with Michelle and Barack Obama, the first African-American president and first lady, depicted as apes. And there's people, black folks, that are going on Facebook and YouTube saying that wasn't nothing. And see, in a way, I wouldn't discount it like that, but Trump has showed his hand years ago. The Central Park Five. Yusef, who I've met at an event years ago, before he became a councilman, city of New York. Yusef Salam. I forget what his name was back in the day, but yeah, Trump back then took out a full-page ad in the New York Times, saying that the Central Park Five should be killed. They should be executed. A full-page ad. You know how much a full-page ad costs in the New York Times? A lot. And Trump was taking out full-page ads in the New York Times, advocating for the death of the Central Park Five. Advocating for the death. So we know, we know he was the main one. Barack Obama, when Barack Obama was running for president. Barack Obama is not a citizen. Taking out full-page ads for that. Barack Obama is not a citizen. Barack Obama is not American. He was born in Kenya, is what they were saying. Barack Obama was born in Kenya. And yeah, Ronald McCready, yeah. Where the rest of y'all at? Yeah, Ronald McCready, appreciate you, brother. So yeah, he was looking for the death penalty for the Central Park Five. Death penalty. And then when he and just like he didn't apologize for the Barack Obama and Michelle Obama monkey video, he didn't apologize for that either. He never apologized to Barack Obama. So when Trump came to the White House in 2016, when Barack Obama was about to leave office, he didn't apologize. And with this video, now they're saying that the monkey video, now they're saying that somebody else did it. A staffer, yeah, who's the staffer? Did they get fired? What happened? Name the person. Trump did it. Trump put that video up, but it's not a surprise. And I'm not surprised at that. I'm not surprised at anything Trump does. Because when the Central Park Five, when that came out, those boys were innocent. They were found to be innocent years later, but they did do time in prison. And Trump is running around. They should die. They should get the death penalty. Execution. Now, And there's already enough people. Yeah, throw the brick. Yeah, throw the brick and then turn around and act like you're doing something else. Yeah. Unbelievable what happened with that. And so I'm not surprised that I'm not even wasting my breath getting mad about what Trump does. Because Trump is a racist, and we all know that. You know, we know that. The Secret Service is going to be knocking on my door any second now. But we know Donald Trump and what he's about. We know. But you still have black folks out here advocating for Trump, saying he didn't do nothing wrong. That, oh, it's not a big deal. So I think that the people that are doing that are just looking to raise a stink, because there's a lot of different ways to get attention, and that's one of them. You get a lot of comments, and you get a lot of thumbs down. Well, they don't have thumbs down, but you get a lot of comments advocating for Trump. So yeah, it's unbelievable what's going on. But again, Trump is Trump. I didn't even get upset about it, because it's exhausting. Because you're gonna get a headache getting mad about what Trump does. So even though Barack Obama has been out of office for 9 years, he's still almost 10 years. Barack Obama's been out of office, and he's still throwing bricks at him. Trump is. Barack Obama's not a threat. He can't run anymore. But I bet you bottom dollar that Trump, behind the scenes, is trying to figure out how he can be president again in 2028. I guarantee, I bet my life on it, that he is trying to stay in the White House when he'll be 82 years old. It's unbelievable. Yeah, but look, Trump, that's what Trump does. And it's because you can always find some black people. You can always find some black folks who are going to turn their back on their people. You can always, it's inevitable. You can always find some black people who are going to flip the script and who are going to go against their own people. Just like in the back in the day, when back in the slavery days on the plantation. Who do you think the overseer was? The overseer was a black person who got a couple of extra biscuits, might have been able to stay in the basement of the big house. They didn't stay in the barn like the rest of the slaves. So they turned their back on their people, just like in the Holocaust. There were Jews who joined up with the Germans, who became police officers, who's beating their own people. When those people were going through what they were going through, just like when black folks were going through what black folks go through, they had the overseer who would beat you to death to please the master. So you're always going to be able to find black folks who want to be overseers, who want to please Massa Trump. Larry Elder, somebody's a radio personality. Larry Elder. Nobody black likes him. Yeah, they did, but, I agree with that, Ronald McCready. They did, but, these people are not under the threat of death. We're not on the plantation anymore. And these people are still advocating for Trump, and they're not going to die. They're still advocating for Trump. At 30 minutes past the hour. So yeah, with the Trump thing, what Trump doesn't bother me. But what bothers me is black folks who advocate for Trump. Black folks, why would you advocate for Trump? You have so many reasons not to. You had Central Park 5, who he was advocating for them to be put to death penalty for the Central Park 5. Full-page ads. Barack Obama was born in Kenya, not even an American. You see how hard he pushed that narrative. You know, you see, because Trump is a master manipulator. Because, see, he suckered all the black folks when he came up with that. When he came up with the no tax on overtime and tips, suckers. Also, as I peeped that the minute he did it. I peeped that no tax on overtime. Peeped it. As soon as he did it, I peeped it. I said, you know what? This bull. Because, and then people, you know, were so happy to hear something that they just rolled with it. They just rolled with it. But you see, Trump knew that people was going to jump all over that. But see, you still got to pay taxes on that money. You just don't get the tax right now. So, because now if he said overtime wasn't considered income, now that would have been something. That would have been something. Because some jobs like mine, I make as much money on overtime as I do regular time. So that would have been great. That would have been like cutting the check in half and only taxing half of it. That would have been great. But see, even though you didn't pay tax, you're still going to pay tax on that money, on that overtime money. You're still going to pay taxes on it. At the end of the year, when you get your W-2, it's going to show every penny that you made. The only thing they're doing is just delaying the inevitable. And see, and you might even wind up paying, you know, you may even wind up paying more tax. Ronald McCready says, that's true, but in the past was different. Now you got to be some kind of special to be black and root for Trump. Yeah. Yeah. See, you know, so everybody jumped on that. Oh, wow. Because, you know, a lot of black folks, you know, down at the bottom, working. Hispanics, mostly hourly workers, are mostly black and Hispanic people. You know. So he suckered us in. Well, he didn't sucker me in, but he suckered black folks in. He suckered Hispanics in. Yeah, vote for Trump. No tax on overtime. You think that... now, if he said, like, now, again, now let me go back to that. If he said no tax, if he said... see, he says no tax on overtime and tips. That's what he said. And everybody jumped on it. Oh, yeah, that's what's up, yeah. I'm going to be doing all right. No. Suckers. Because what actually happened was you're going to still pay tax on that overtime. Just not right now. Not right now. I'm not no tax person, expert, but your tax bill might be even bigger because of this nonsense with Trump. No tax on income, no tax on overtime or tips. No tax right now. See now, but people jumped on it like, yeah, because they didn't understand that you still got to pay tax on that overtime. Just not right now. Just not right now. So you'll pay tax on your regular time now. But guess what's going to happen, you know, in a month or two, some of y'all feeling a pinch right now. You might not get back as much as you thought you would. It's just delaying the inevitable. And everybody jumped on it. Suckers. Ronald McCready says, I still say people voted for Trump because they thought he was going to give them a stimulus. Yeah, people did. And see, that's the stupidity, you know, when people, you know, don't read the fine print. So they go get a car and they wind up paying 35%, you know, because they didn't read the fine print. So anything Trump does, you got to read the fine print. And the fine print was, you still going to pay tax, just not right now. And Trump did that because white folks didn't care about that. White folks didn't care about no tax on overtime and tip. They didn't care about that. Most of them. They ain't got to worry about that. It's the people down at the bottom. The 99%. We the ones that had to worry about that. And I know all white folks don't have money. But Trump did that to get us, to sucker us. Talked about he's going to give $2,000 to every American in the country. Sucker move, and everybody went for it. He said he's going to, Ronald McCready, you're right. He said he's going to give $2,000 to everybody. Sucker move. Everybody fell for it. No tax on overtime. Sucker move. Everybody fell for it. You know, so it's unbelievable that in this day and age that people are still advocating for this man. It's just unbelievable. And if y'all don't get out here and vote for and to take one of those houses away, either the Senate or the Congress, the next 2 years are going to be awful. Trying to rename things. The Kennedy Center for so many years was the Kennedy Center. Why you want to? Nobody else thought about putting their name on the Kennedy Center. You know, he's a big baby. The tunnel project that's going on, trying to build 2 new tunnels so the tunnels that's been there for 100 years don't collapse in on us. You know, they're trying to build 2 new tunnels. And he wants the tunnels to be named after him. And since the Port Authority and the governors in New York, New Jersey said no, so what does he do? He cuts off the funding. He's a little, that's what he does. He's a bully. He's a blackmailer. He wants people to name everything after him. Yeah. So I can't believe the black folks are still advocating for Trump. All the one black senator and the black congressmen, Republicans, none of them got a job in the White House. Not one of them. Byron Donald, the one from Florida, the coon of the year. Byron Donalds, congressman from Florida, he didn't get a job. None of them, none of those black congressmen, black Republican congressmen, none of them got a job. Trump overlooked all of them. Tim Scott, coon of the century. Well, he did speak up, though. I'll take that back, Tim Scott, though. He did say that Trump thing with Barack Obama and Michelle Obama was the most racist thing he's seen out of Congress. Okay, so all right, Tim Scott, you get a break. I guess so, because Trump's not going to give you anything. You ain't getting nothing. Trump's not going to give you nothing. No. So Trump is against black folks. Did he have a little ceremony for Black History Month? No. No, just no. So it's just like, wow. But anyway, I got to take a break, everybody. WBOK, I got to take a break. And I'll be back with more of this program. Bad Bunny. What'd you think about Bad Bunny? We'll take a break and come back with more Saron Kelly. Talk Radio. Y'all think this is easy. It's not. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
The Ron Kelly Show. Real talk, bold truth. Tune in for your weekly dose of unapologetic conversations that don't dodge the truth or dilute the message. Stay informed on the issues that matter most on The Ron Kelly Show. Every Monday at 7 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m.
All right, what's up, everybody? It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Yeah, it's on Mondays in New Orleans. WBOK 1230 a.m. Our people's down there. Shout out to Charla Eberhardt, my handler, down there in New Orleans. I'll be going down there one of these days pretty soon. I always wanted to go to Mardi Gras. You know, that was the thing. I always wanted to go to Mardi Gras. One of these days, I'm going to take a bunch of beads and throw them and see what happens. Anyway, it's Ronald McClee. It's 18 minutes before the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, LA Talk Radio, and WBOK 1230 AM in New Orleans, Louisiana. I wonder how Ray Nagin is doing. Remember Ray Nagin, the mayor who got locked up for stealing? Anyway, it's 18 minutes before the hour. Ronald McCready is asking about Omarosa. I don't know what happened to Omarosa. Yeah, Trump used her like he does everybody else. He uses people. You know, for Melania's. Why the hell would they make a movie about Melania? I just a documentary, whatever it is. It's supposed to be based on the 20 days after 20 days to the White House. That's what it's supposed to be. Who is Melania anyway? You don't even know who she is. All the other first ladies, you knew who they were. Michelle Obama, you knew. Barbara Bush, you knew. Hillary Clinton, you knew. You knew all the other first ladies. But who the heck is Melania? Melania is an ornament. To make Trump look good. And everybody knows Trump ain't doing nothing with that. She does look good now, I'm not gonna lie. She looks very good, but she hasn't ever worked a day in her life, so she's supposed to look good. She's married to a billionaire. So, she has access to all the latest treatments and all the latest face creams and whatever else that she does, but she looks good. She's a ornament. She's an ornament. Because we all want our women to look good now. I can't blame Trump too much for that, because whenever you walk in the door with, it's going to have your stock is either going to go up or down depending on who you come through the door with. So yeah, we all want our women to look good. So I can't really blame Trump too much for that. But anyway, it's 16 minutes before the hour. What happened to Omarosa? You know what? I don't know what happened to Omarosa, Ronald McCready. I don't know what happened to Omarosa. Who knows? But Trump used her for the moment, and then he got rid of her. Because that's what he does. He uses people, and then he gets rid of them. And for some reason, the people still don't get it. They still, fall for the banana in the tailpipe. They still do. I just don't get it. Anyway, it's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program all over the effing earth. YouTube, LinkedIn, Blog Talk Radio, LA Talk Radio, WBOK 1230 AM in New Orleans. And that Ron Kelly show is on Monday nights until we go live. We can't go live yet, but for right now, just to get acquainted with the audience, it's on Monday night, 7 p.m., WBOK 1230 AM in New Orleans. So, man, the brouhaha behind Bad Bunny. Folks, what the heck was that? White folks furious. White folks furious about Bad Bunny being on the halftime show. Furious. So furious that the Turning Point people, the late Charlie Kirk's organization, call themselves having their own halftime show featuring Kid Rock. Crackhead Kid Rock. I mean, give me a break. But they were so, see the thing about it, the sad part about all this country is so divided. The United States of America is not the United States. It's the divided states of America right now. It just is. And there's so much going on. Then you got the transgender people, men wanting to be women, saying they are women, women saying they're men. I mean, it's bad enough that we already had the division. Now we got the transgender stuff to worry about. Bathrooms, which bathroom to use, can they compete? Can transgender women compete? Or can transgender girls compete with biological girls? Because you notice that the transgender, the men, the female to male, the men, they're not trying to compete with the men because they know they can't. They know they can't. So you don't see that transgender male. You don't see female to male trying to compete in sports with boys or men because they know they can't. So you're not going to see that, but you're going to see the female. You're going to see the male to female. I mean, we all know it's not true. That you can't. Whatever you was born with, that's it. You can get surgery, you can take testosterone, or you can take estrogen, or whatever, but that's not going to change anything. You still need a prostate exam. If you're a woman, if you're a woman trying to be a man, you still need a pap smear. So I really, you still need, well, maybe not they removed the breast, so I guess they don't need the mammogram no more. But, oh boy, I can't do it. I can't do it. Let me stop. Some of y'all probably got transgender people in your family, so I'm gonna let that go at 12 minutes before the hour. So yeah, we gotta. This country is very divided. It's very divided. So that's why it was such a big deal with Bad Bunny. And see, what you gotta understand is that was a business move. Okay, that was a business move. That was. Roger Goodell, the 32, I believe it is, owners of the football teams, all billionaires. That was a business move, straight up. Because Roger Goodell knew that people was going to be pissed off. You have a halftime show in Spanish. He knew that people was going to be mad. I mean, I watched it. Yeah, I thought it was kind of entertaining. I mean, yeah, I couldn't understand what they were saying, and that did kind of, that did kind of take something away from it because I didn't know what they were saying. I thought he might sing a song in English and then sing a song in Spanish, but the whole thing was in Spanish. The whole theme was Spanish. So, that kind of took it away from me because I did want to know what the heck they were saying. But that was a business move. Trust and believe. Because they knew there was going to be blowback. They knew. But whatever their plan was, it was worth going through what they went through. Because the people, social media was lit up with people who were mad about Bad Bunny. Lit up. Lamont Gates says many blacks were upset about BB also, which is not a good look at see, for me, I mean, I wasn't upset about it. I thought it was colorful. I thought it was interesting. I just didn't, I just would rather he sang some of the songs in English. That way I could have understood what he was saying. But the whole thing was in Spanish, and that's the issue that I had. But as far as it being entertaining, no, it was entertaining. Somebody actually got married during the halftime show. They were down there with him. That couple that you saw, they were really getting married. It wasn't, they weren't a prop. They were really getting married. So I thought that was cool. In the bushes and the theme of people, if they were made them black people, they could have easily have been slaves, but I thought it was cool. It was interesting. It was different. But my only problem with my Gates was that there was no English in the whole thing. That was my problem. Everybody, 8 minutes before the hour. So yeah, that's the only problem I had, is that there was no English in any of the songs, not one word. So that was a problem for me. But white folks, I didn't watch that. I gotta see if I can get a video of that, so I can watch what they did, what the white folks did on the Turning Point USA's halftime show. I'm not even sure who was on it. I know they were saying that what's his face was going to be on there, Kid Rock, who just oh boy. Anyway, I know they said it was going to be Kid Rock. Was going to be hosting it. So I'm not sure what happened with that. But that was my only problem. But you better believe, best believe that the NFL has a scheme going on with that. Just like they having these football games in Brazil and all of these different, Mexico, Germany, all the different places. See, they're trying to globalize the NFL. Because it's about money. That Bad Bunny was about money. Bad Bunny money. That's what that was about. Because they didn't have to pay Bad Bunny. They had to pay for the production. But what people don't understand is that nobody who performs at the halftime show gets paid. Nobody. Not even Michael Jackson, who turned it out one year. He didn't get paid, because the halftime show is such an opportunity when you got half the world is watching it. There's no better publicity than that. So they don't get paid, but the NFL has to pay for the production. But you better believe that there was a scheme behind that the NFL is trying to globalize. They're trying. The owners of the teams and Roger Goodell are trying to globalize the NFL. Lamar Gates says most of us didn't understand a word Kendrick Lamar was saying due to the live nature of the show and his rap lyrics. Okay, all right, Lamar Gates, I'll give you that, but at least, but rhythm is rhythm. Plus we knew they not like us. We knew. I didn't have to hear the words. We knew. When he was dancing at They Not Like Us, we all knew what he was singing. I get it. Sometimes the words can get flummoxed, but I hear that. But when Kendrick Lamar started singing They're Not Like Us, every black person in America knew what he was saying. But with Bad Bunny, nobody knew what he was saying, except Spanish people. But you better believe the NFL is trying to globalize. They're trying to make football like soccer. Because some of those soccer players, get filthy rich. Some of those soccer teams have billions and billions of dollars. Some of those soccer teams bring in more than the NFL. Now, the NFL may be more popular in America, but soccer is everywhere. You see Africans with no shoes on kicking the ball around. You see, soccer is global. And the NFL is trying to globalize the league. So you better believe that Roger Goodell and Bob Kraft and Jerry Jones and all the folks who own teams knew there was going to be a backlash. But for whatever their scheme was, it must have been worth it, because that's what it is. They're trying to globalize the NFL. They're trying to make the NFL as popular and introduce the NFL to some of these countries where it's never been. So that's why you got the Brazil games. There used to be NFL Europe back in the day, NFL Europe, but it folded. I guess those people weren't ready for the NFL at that time. So they coming back. They didn't give up. They're coming back. They got a plan. They didn't give up. They're coming back. So you see the reason why Bad Bunny was on the halftime show, and the fact that he didn't sing no English, that's part of the plan. That's part of the plan. Because they're trying to globalize the NFL. Mexico City. Now that there's going to be a game in Rio, in Brazil. No, they don't have the facilities to host a game, but maybe the NFL is helping them fix those stadiums up. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to globalize the NFL, just like soccer. Because soccer is everywhere. There's not a place on earth where they don't play soccer. So that was the deal. So if you're wondering why Bad Bunny was on his mostly Spanish people watch soccer and play soccer. It's mostly Hispanics. There ain't a lot of white people who, white folks who are involved in soccer. It's Hispanics. A large, overwhelmingly large portion of folks who enjoy soccer are Hispanic. So that's why they took a chance. That's why not took a chance, but that's why they put Bad Bunny on a halftime show and had him not say a word of English. There's a scheme. Trust and believe. There's a scheme. There's a plan to globalize the NFL because there's money. And that's what it's about. That's what the NFL is trying to do. Because they got the TV coverage. When the Super Bowl comes on, the whole world is watching. So now we got to have some games in front of those folks. Shout out to my brother Albert Vega. DJ Tiny, you need a DJ? Holler at my boy Albert Vega. DJ Tiny says they're trying to reach you. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I wouldn't say that to Lamont Gates. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say, you got about a minute left in the program. I wouldn't say it's about prejudice. I wouldn't say that. I mean, yeah, there were some folks, a fair amount of folks who just don't like Hispanics. True indeed. I would say that. I would agree with that. There's a fair amount of Hispanics who don't like soccer. You're right. People in Texas who allow a man to get away with murder for killing his daughter because they're all Trump fans. So yeah. I would say that, Lamont. Yeah. No. I mean, yeah, there's some people who do, but I wouldn't say that the whole world, that the whole United States of America is prejudiced against Hispanics. I wouldn't say that. And I'm allowed to have my own opinion, Lamont Gates. I'm allowed to have my own opinion. And I would not say that it's all about prejudice. Yeah, you're right that there was some people who don't like Hispanics. You're right. Some people, but not the whole entire country. All right, everybody, I'm out. They keep yelling at me because I keep going over the time, and then they have to edit the show down for WBOK 12:30 a.m. in New Orleans. But I got to break out of here, everybody. So thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate you. See you back here next Thursday evening for another edition of the Ron Kelly Show. So I like to say, and check out Lamont Gates. Lamont Gates, Life After Death, Real Death Experience, RDE, Real Death Experiences. Check out Lamont Gates on YouTube. All right, I'm out of here. See you back here next week. And I like to say it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And we may not have it all together, Lamont Gates, but together, he said the backlash, not the supporters. Yeah. The backlash comes from the supporters, Lamont Gates. So we'll see you back here next week, everybody. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, and that we may not have it all together, but together we can definitely have it all. Thank you so much, Ronald McCready, Lamont Gates, Albert Vega, and all the folks who check out the Ron Kelly Show on a regular basis on Thursday. We'll see you back here next week, so until then, take care of yourself. And to steal a line from Jerry Springer, and each other.